Hi, guys. Um, for a lot of us, NBA fantasy basketball playoffs have started. If not started yet, then it will be next week or the week after. We're going to talk about three players that might save your season if you're going into the league feeling a little bit short-handed. Um, Baseball is about to start in the next couple weeks. We're going to talk about my personal league and what I think is going to happen this year, vaguely, and for reasons that I'll explain later. And of course, uh, UFC 248 just started, so we're going to talk about that. Uh, we're going to talk about that right after the intro. Thanks for watching Coach Wondergeddon. I'm your Coach Wondergeddon. We are going to get right into it because I haven't spoke about a lot of things in a while. We've had a couple guests. I haven't really done any too much by myself in a while. And I feel like I'm starting to slack off. You guys might be getting sick of my voice because I have other people's voices on here. But guess what? It's all me today. Let's see what the views are like now. Have people visiting and you guys are liking and commenting on my stuff. When I'm here by myself, you guys ignore me. But I'm going to get over that for now, and we'll talk to you guys about UFC 248, T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Another good fight was supposed to happen, but it didn't. Israel Adesanya, I'm lying. Israel Adesanya fought Yoel Romero, guys. I'm not going to lie. Two guys that I really like in as fighters and also in character. Like both of them, two of my favorites. As I probably said more than once on this show. Unfortunately, that fight was not very good, and it's not any fault of the fighters, to be honest. I know they're gonna get a bad rap for it because they were obviously the combatants in the fight. To be honest, some styles just don't always look good. They might look good on paper. Those styles don't always look good in real life. Kind of happened this time. Adesanya did kick at Yoel Romero's legs, and they did look like mincemeat when they were finished getting the kicking, but not too much other than that. Romero didn't really do anything to look like he even won the fight. Israel Adesanya was a champion, so he doesn't have to exert much more than his opponent in order to keep his title, which is what it looks like is what it did. They just didn't look like two very good dance partners. They both kind of wanted to do their own thing in the fight. It started with, I think, a minute of these two in the ring looking like they both have their control buttons mixed up on PS4, like they don't know who. It was a weird scene. Israel Adesanya, obviously, 19-0, still the champion. It's going to be Paulo Costa next. That should be a very good fight as well. Paulo Costa fought Yoel Romero. Actually beat Yoel Romero the last time they faced each other, but he got injured. So that's why Yoel Romero got that spot in the first place. No disrespect to any fighter. I don't ever want to come on here and kind of disrespecting fighters or anything like that because I've not been in the ring. I don't know what it's like and all that yada yada yada. But I will say this: Yoel Romero, as much as I do like watching his fights, I'm starting to realize at 42 years old he might be on that decline. I find he's trying to save his energy, conserve his energy a little bit more than some of the younger guys, and I think if he doesn't get a hold of you and smash your face into another orbit, I think this might be when people start noticing that he's going to be beaten more often. I don't think a lot of people are going to try to beat him. I don't think he's going to be in a situation where he's going to be getting a lot of competition. I still don't think people are going to want to fight him. But I think the next generation is kind of catching up to him. He is a super powerful guy. But I don't know. I think it might be that the tail end of his career. 42 years old, man. Had a very good career. Unfortunately, it was a little bit short because He spent most of his 20s in Cuba, and he got into the UFC a little bit late compared to some of these other guys. I would be scared to see him in the UFC if he was 20 years old, like when he was a young guy. I've heard stories about what he was in his 20s, and even now, regardless of the losses that he's taken these last couple fights, he's still a super athlete to me. But that being said, although that match wasn't as great as everyone intended it to be, I'll be honest with you, the co-main event more than made up for it. This is Weili Zhang versus Joanna. Joanna, after 5 rounds of cranium expanding punches and bunches, kicks and licks and all of that, Weili Zhang beat Joanna. 5 rounds of kickboxing. It was an amazing fight. I know it's only March, but I will say with confidence that so far is the fight of the decade. Any fight that is going to be called the fight of the decade has to surpass this fight, and I think that's going to be, I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be a hard one to do. I don't even remember who I had as fight of the decade last decade, but I promise you right now, if I keep track from 2020 so far, this is number 1. And I might even make a chart to keep track of that and see if I can do 10 years of finding out who the best fight of the decade was. Definitely for this year, it's going to be hard to beat that in 1 year as far as fight of the decade, but I promise you for the next couple years, the fights that you're going to see in the UFC in the next 10 years, if you're talking about fight of the decade, they are going to have to surpass what happened with Joanna versus Weili Zhang. It was amazing. One of the best fist fights I've ever seen. As I said, head expansion. Joanna got punched in the head, and her head started to grow. West Indians that are out there know I'm talking about a coco. I don't really know, like, what they call it, a hemo something is what other more cultured people call it. I'm gonna call it the biggest coco I ever saw in my life. The whole head top became a one living coco. You know, sometimes you have that little knot that just kind of sits in one spot where you get hit when you get hit hard enough. This girl went full mega mind head expansion via thump in the head. It was a really good fight. Despite that, despite the damage that she took, it was a very good fight, and I'm surprised they got through all 5 rounds because they were hitting each other so hard. The rest of the match, the rest of it was okay. Nothing that I really feel like talking about. No disrespect to those fighters. I don't really talk about that. But I will talk about Sugar Sean O'Malley, which is growing on me as one of my new favorite fighters. Super, super fast. His kicks are crazy. He just knocked out a guy, looked like he used minimum effort. I haven't seen this guy in the ring in a couple years. I was so happy to see him back, and he did not disappoint me. I can't wait to see this guy coming up the ranks in the next couple years. That is my UFC talk. I guess the next time we're going to talk about UFC is going to be 249, Khabib versus Ferguson. Trust me, I'm going to watch that fight, and trust me, I'm going to have something to say about that fight. For a lot of us right now in the fantasy world of sports, we are in or approaching the fantasy basketball playoffs. And as every other year, the trade deadline can make or break your team in some crazy, excruciating, tyrannical ways. Me, for example, I'll use an example as Lou Williams, for example, who used to just be the 6th man of the year, and he just gets to run, shot, come off the bench, shoot as much as he wants. Now, the Clippers have filled up the bench with 3 other pretty good players that are going to cut into his playing time. And some of you might be wondering if you should let him go or not. We're going to talk about that later on in the playoffs, because right now I want to be on a positive note. One of my teams just started the playoffs, and as I said, next couple weeks my other teams are going to start. I am going to talk about the 3 Three players that I think are going to be the late season MVPs for this year. What I mean by that is post All-Star game, post trade deadline players that are going to come in and could make or break a season for you. I'm going to start with number one. Obviously, since injury, we'll say since the All-Star break finished, I have to go with the first person is going to be Zion Williamson for the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, we knew he was good. We knew he was good on the way in, but we're talking about people that weren't here in the beginning of the year that are going to come in and make or break your team. Most people had him on their injured list and probably sacrificed a few numbers on the way to the playoffs in order to keep him. Well, guess what? He is as advertised. He's about a 500% shooter, which is more than what you want. 25 points a game, yes. 5+ rebounds a game, yes. I talked about Lou Williams, and I'll tell you another name of someone who probably got destroyed because of Zion Williamson in New Orleans. Derek Favors is a drop, just a little jewel there. That might be his official dismissal from many a fantasy league. Might have been the Zion Williamson epiphany, if you will. Number two is from the Indiana Pacers. Victor Oladipo just came back. Since he's come back, he's been about 15+ points. He's getting efficient buckets, 15 shots a game, and he's still getting about 15, 20, 25 points a game. I think he just hit 27 the other day. Since he's been back from injury, 5+ rebounds, 5+ assists. He's got a couple steals as well. Very, very, very good pickup if you held him all season. You're coming in with a bonus player. Number three, I'll give you guys the truth. I was gonna say Steph Curry. I decided I'm not gonna go with Steph Curry. Of course, I know the second half of the season he's gonna make some sort of mark, some kind of impact. I'll be honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at some of the numbers. I can assume he's going to be the same Steph Curry that he was before, but that'd be too easy to say, seeing he has given us such a small sample of 2020 Steph Curry. So my number three, it will instead be Christian Wood from the Detroit Pistons. Double doubles for the last few weeks. He's been getting a few double doubles. He has a lot of space, man. Since Andre Drummond got traded to the Cavaliers, you're looking at a whole center position that this guy gets to roam free in. Andre Drummond is a 2020 guy in Detroit, 20 points, 20 rebounds. Right now, Christian Wood's probably around 15 and 10, which means that he still has a little bit of room to grow because I don't see anybody else taking up that much space that Andre Drummond had before. That being said, if he's still out there, grab him. I think he's in 80% of leagues right now. If you see him out there and it's playoff time, pick him up. You're welcome. At least block another player from grabbing him by picking him up and throwing him on your bench. But if you are planning to win your if you're trying to win your league and you have a less than a top 3, top 4 team, grab one of those 3 guys, or I hope you have one of those 3 guys, or it's going to be a rough go at it if you think you're going to win your championship this year. That being said, good luck, guys, in fantasy basketball, fantasy league playoffs. And we're going to keep going where as each week passes, I'm going to throw a couple more jewels out there. Not too much because I have a couple guys in my league that are watching, and I don't want to give you guys too much information. All right, guys, it's coming. Statistically, this is my worst fantasy sport that I play. Ironically, it's the only one that I've won a championship with. Wait, that's not true. I win football a lot. This is my worst sport that I'm going to perfect. It's fantasy league baseball. Disappointed myself in a league that I was once a champion, the Bodman Baseball League. I came in, I believe, 6th last year. Disappointing. I was once a champion of this league. I came in fourth place a couple times. I usually go with my strong pitching and my speed on the base pads. Didn't work for me last year. I got beat up, guys. And quite honestly, this year, Bodman Baseball League, I am coming for revenge. The draft is coming soon, and I've decided to take to the airways, make you guys see. I am going to do right in front of you guys on the Coach Wondergeddon show. Coach Wondergeddon, will tell you guys my keepers for the Bodman Baseball League. Drums, please. These are my picks for my keeper league. These are my keepers. 2020, I hope is going to be a better league, and I hope that it's going to be even better because of these players. So my keepers are this. I have three keepers as far as outfielders and infielders. Pitchers, a whole other division. I have two of those I'm allowed to keep, and I'm allowed to keep a rookie. My players are going to be Manny Machado from San Diego. He is a third base slash shortstop. I usually keep him on my league. He's my every year keeper. I think I've had him for 3 years now, and next year I'll probably keep him too. One of my favorite players. I like playing him. I think he's still in his prime, even though he had a down year in San Diego, kind of figuring out the new system. That being said, I think this year he's going to do a lot better, and I think he's going to do a lot better because the second guy that I'm keeping as far as my keepers go, which is Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham just came to San Diego from the Tampa Bay Rays. Last year he had a pretty good year. I believe he had 100 runs. We're going to get in that a little bit more in depth after my draft because I might make some trades. Who knows? But Tommy Pham, left fielder last year. He's going to be my left fielder this year in my keeper league. My right fielder I'm going to use as a keeper as well, and that's going to be Jorge Solier from the Kansas City Royals. He is a right fielder. Last year hit 40+ home runs. This, I believe, is the beginning of a great career for him, and I think he's going to hit 40 more this year. I think last year's numbers were good. I think this year's numbers are going to be better. I'm excited to have him. So my rookie is Keston Herrera from Milwaukee. He's a second baseman. I only played in a handful of games last year. Just came up about mid-year, so I know he's going to be a rookie. We're allowed to keep two rookies. He's the only rookie I have, so I'm going to keep with him. My pitching is my pride and joy. I try to make sure I have the best pitching combinations in the league every year. I think I have a track record that shows that I'm pretty damn good at getting pitchers. This year, I'm going to keep with my pitchers that I kept last year as far as my keepers go. I'm going to keep Garrett Cole, New York Yankees pitcher. Just got there. Last year averaged about 2 strikeouts a game. I think this year he's going to do about the same. I'm expecting his ERA to go down. He's going to be their bona fide ace. He's going to play all the good games. I think, as I said, that this year is going to be an even better year for Garrett Cole. Yes, I know he's in the AL East where there's a lot of bombers and a lot of home run hitters. I think he's going to navigate his way through that and put up some really, really good numbers for me this year. My second pitcher is going to be Charlie Morton from Tampa Bay. I don't have high expectations for Tampa Bay outside of fantasy, but Charlie Morton can pitch, and I'm expecting him to be able to do that this year as well. He's going to be the number one. He's going to have a couple younger guys behind him. Tampa Bay is going to win some games this year. They should win a few games this year. I think he's good for about 15 games. The one thing I do like about him is that he's a pretty good control pitcher. He doesn't he doesn't walk too many batters, and he keeps his ERA under 3, which I think is a nice number to keep your starting pitchers at when you're going into keeper league situation. So that's who I have. I have Garrett Cole. I have Charlie Morton are my pitchers. I have Manny Machado. I have Jorge Soler. I have Tommy Pham, and I have Keston Herrera. Those are my keepers for Major League Baseball. When I finish my draft, I'll give you guys my whole draft team. Let you guys take a look at it and judge me for it. That's baseball, guys. So I pretty much did 3 sports today. Next episode, we're going to keep talking about fantasy basketball. I should have a Major League Baseball team that I can show you guys in the next coming weeks. UFC is coming. We are going to talk about Khabib versus Tony Ferguson before and after. And if the price is right, I can do it during. But we're going to talk about that next episode, guys. Thanks for watching. I have far lost track how many episodes we've done this year. Thanks for watching, everyone that does watch. I can't remember your name right now. I'm going to shout you out in the next episode for correcting me. If anyone did not see the correction, Zhang fought Tisha Torres and beat her in 3 rounds, 3-round decision, not a 5-round decision. My mistake from the last episode. But guys, that's another episode. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, as I said, anything that you want to rebuttal, anything that you want to talk to me about, as I said, I am Coach Wondergeddon. Coach Wondergeddon on social media, Coach Wondergeddon on Instagram, Coach Wondergeddon on Facebook. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.